Trade Union Congress rejects plans to impose 0.5% cybersecurity levy on electronic transactions. CBN suspends charges on cash deposits. NAFDAC shuts down Substandard Bakeries and water factory in Rivers State. And on the foreign scene, cholera cases surge as 44 new infections highlight threat of crisis in Kenya. Hello and welcome to Trust TV's News Update. I am Chiamaka Nwafo. Thanks for joining us. Now the news. The Trade Union Congress TUC has rejected plans by the federal government to impose a 0.5% cybersecurity levy on electronic transactions by commercial banks. The Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, had directed banks to implement the 0.5% cybersecurity levy on electronic transactions effective May 20. In a statement by the president of the TUC, Festus Osifo, on Wednesday, the union urged the federal government to give a marching order to the CBN to immediately withdraw the circular and cancel the planned levy forthwith. The TUC threatened to mobilize its members, stakeholders and the masses to embark on a protest that will culminate into a total shutdown of the Nigerian economy, as this was an exploitation to many. The TUC said it was quite disturbed that since the inception of President Bola Tinubu's administration, its policies have brought pain, anguish and sorrow on Nigerians. The House of Representatives on Wednesday passed a resolution calling on the Transmission Company of Nigeria (TCN) to restore the Northeast region to the national grid. This followed the adoption of a motion of urgent national importance by Honorable Ahmadu Usman Jaha from Borno State. Usman, in his motion, noted that the Northeast region has been experiencing power challenges due to the activities of insurgents, which had led to destruction of power infrastructures in the region. He said the current state of transmission conductors in the Northeast region is insufficient, urging the TCN to upgrade transmission conductors in the region. The House, while adopting the motion, urged the federal government to allocate adequate resources to the TCN to enable it upgrade transmission conductors and improve power supply in the region. Still on the House of Representatives, it has stepped down a motion calling for the suspension of the cybersecurity levy, which has elicited negative reactions from Nigerians. Representative Manusoro, who moved a motion on the floor of the House on Wednesday, had explained that the levy was coming at the wrong time, considering the current living conditions of Nigerians. The lawmaker had argued that the National Security Advisor is a political office and has no mandate to manage accruals. However, the Speaker, Tajuddin Abbas, urged the lawmaker to step down the motion to allow the leadership of the House to deliberate on how best to address the situation. The Nigerian Labour Congress, NLC, had described the planned cybersecurity levy introduced by the Central Bank of Nigeria on all electronic transactions as another burden on Nigerians. According to a circular issued to various financial institutions, including commercial, merchants, non-interest and payment service banks, the Apex Bank indicated that the levy would come into effect in 2 weeks from May 6. Still in the Green Chamber, has denied demanding a bribe from Binance Group following a recent allegation by the cryptocurrency company. This is as the House also resolved to launch an investigation into the escape of Binance executive Nadeem Anjarwalla from the National Securities Advisor's custody in March. Binance had on Tuesday stated that some unknown persons in Nigeria demanded huge payments in digital currency to make their problems in the country go away. The company had pointed out that its representatives were approached after leaving a meeting with the House Committee on Financial Crimes. However, the House of Representatives on Wednesday denied demanding a bribe from the company. The motion was championed by a member of the House representing a constituency, Kama Nkem Kama, citing breach of privilege. The lawmaker asked the House to re-invite the company to ascertain the bribe claims. Now, the Central Bank of Nigeria has directed banks to stop charges on cash deposits until September 30 this year. CBN disclosed this in a circular dated May 6, 2024 and signed by its Director of Banking Supervision, Adetona Adedeji. Some bank customers had raised concerns after lenders began the collection of processing fees for cash deposits on May 1. Banks are meant to charge 2% on deposits above 500,000 naira for individuals, while corporate account holders are to be charged 2% on deposits above 3 million. The naira depreciated at the official market, trading at 1,460 naira 57 kobo to the dollar. The data from the official trading platform of the FMDQ exchange, a platform that oversees the Nigerian Autonomous Foreign Exchange Market, NAFDAC, showed that the naira lost 62 naira 36 kobo. This represents a 4.60% loss when compared to Monday's trading, when it exchanged at 1,354 naira 21 kobo to a dollar. However, the total daily turnover increased to 160.77 on Tuesday, up from $84.33 million recorded on Monday. Meanwhile, at the investors and exporters I&E window, the naira traded between 1,445 naira and 1,301 naira against the dollar. As fuel queues subside across fueling stations, the federal government says it will sanction marketers hoarding and diverting premium motor spirit. The Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority said on Tuesday that its men are moving around the country to ensure the fuel loaded at the depot are not hoarded or diverted by any individual for any reason. In the past 2 weeks, Nigerians experienced fuel scarcity that forced the prices of petrol to skyrocket from an average of 615 naira to above 1,000 naira per litre in many fueling stations. The NMDPRA Southwest Regional Coordinator, Ayo Cardoso, said any fueling station caught hoarding the product will be made to sell to the public at the popular market price. The senator representing Ondo South Senatorial District in the National Assembly, Jimoh Ibrahim, has accused Kogi State Governor Usman Ododo and the former Deputy Senate President Ovie Omoagege of compromising the outcome of the April 20 governorship primary at the All Progressives Congress, APC, in Ondo State. Ibrahim, who addressed a news conference in Abuja, specifically accused Ododo and Omoagege of changing the venue of the State Collation Center abruptly without giving contestants any prior notice. Senator is demanding for the conduct of a fresh APC governorship primary in Ondo State on the grounds that election was not conducted in virtually all parts of the state.
Party constitution says that it exhausts the internal machineries before filing in court. We had an appeal. Appeal was dismissed by the party. We wrote a letter to NWC of the party. That's the last organ of the party. So they still went ahead and give certificate of return after the letter. So now we're in court. You can now be talking about party affairs. We are going beyond that. What we are in is threatening internal democracy. It's not, and in fact, our prayer is that conduct a new primary or delist APC from participating in 2024 November election in Ondo.
The River State chapter of the Association of Local Government Areas of Nigeria has accused Governor Siminalayi Fubara of withholding funds meant for the 23 LGAs in the state. The state organ said the action has denied them of their functions in the administration of the third year of government. The LG chairman said the action of the governor is tantamount to prescribing local government councils in the state, even as they backed the call by the caretaker committee chairman of the All Progressives Congress, Tony Okocha, for the State House of Assembly to commence impeachment proceedings against the governor. The state organ chairman, Allwell Ihunda, who stated this while At a news briefing in Port Harcourt on Wednesday, accused the governor of deliberately refusing to hold the statutory Joint Account Allocation Committee meeting, which is the prerequisite for the release and disbursement of funds due to the local government in the state joint local government accounts. Here in the Federal Capital Territory, the administration and its concessionaries, NAFDAC Limited, are clamping down on cars for parking by the roadside. The exercise, which aims to clear the metropolis of illegally parked cars, saw the team wielding the big stick on cars parked along Mafemi Crescent off Augustus Aikomo Street in Jabi, Abuja.
Release our car. You can meet him. Where is he? See him. Good manner, understand why you love your car. Get the knowledge first.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Because when you are beginning to
Thank you very much. This issue is just a simple issue. If you organize such things, you have to notify. I parked my car on the front of the organization, which there is no written there that there is no parking. I parked very well, other people park there. And when I came out, I let the car there, block my car, and asking me to pay for it. Which of that for what reason?
Was there any notice?
There is no any notification there. That is what I'm asking them. If you want to do such job, you have to notify everybody, places in the board, that please, there is no parking here. If you park here, you are going to be penalized. There's penalty for it. Then, if I saw it, then I'm not learned. If I saw it, I park, and other people can read it from me. Say, Organo park there. This simple, but I don't park. You organize people with uniform and started harassing people. This is harassment, and this is 419, I think. No, I know. You go that place.
On health matters, the National Agency for Food and Drug Control, NAFDAC, has closed 3 unregistered bakeries and a sachet water factory in Port Harcourt, Rivers State. These facilities, operated in makeshift structures with poor hygiene standards, pose serious health risks to consumers. The operation, led by the State Coordinator for Rivers State, Emmanuel Onugu, was prompted by tip-off from concerned citizens and thorough investigations. The unregistered bakeries were found to be operating in unsanitary conditions, including the use of a generator inside the production room. NAFDAC, in a statement released, said the closure of these establishments underscores its unwavering commitment to upholding public health standards and cracking down on unscrupulous producers.
Want to be investigated?
Are we not supposed to carry this? Look at it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Sunday, in case you don't know, someone like we got this song. But in case you also the run from song, you can move to Dubai.
Still staying with health, AstraZeneca has initiated a global withdrawal of its COVID-19 vaccine, attributing the decision to an abundance of newer vaccines tailored to combat evolving virus variants. This move follows the company's voluntary withdrawal of its European Union marketing authorization in March. The European Medicines Agency subsequently revoked the vaccine's authorization for use on May 7. AstraZeneca stated that the withdrawal stems from reduced demand as newer vaccines have become available and adapted to target COVID-19 variants. The company acknowledged its vaccine's significant contribution to saving lives with over 3 billion doses supplied globally. Originally named Zveria in 2021, the vaccine was administered as 2 injections and utilized a modified adenovirus to produce a protein from SARS-CoV-2. Despite its overall safety and efficacy, it carried a rare but serious side effect, thrombosis with thrombocytopenia. Professor Catherine Bennett of Deakin University emphasized the vaccine's crucial role in the early stages of the pandemic, but noted its limitations against emerging variants. The World Health Organization's April guidance recommended vaccines targeting the Gen 1 lineage, displacing existing XBB lineage variants. This is the news update on Trust TV. Coming up ahead. Residents react as government demolishes shanties in Makurdi. More when we return. Please just stay with us. Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us. And if you're just joining us, it's the news update on Trust TV. Now a recap of our top stories. Trade Union Congress rejects plans to impose 0.5% cybersecurity levy on electronic transactions. And we also told you that CBN suspends charges on cash deposits. We move to more news where the management of the University of Jos on Wednesday suspended all social activities, including parties, hiking and picnics outside the school environment. In a statement signed by Anna Yilsu on behalf of the Directorate of Dean of Student Affairs, all directors of socials, directors of sports, students' union government executives, and faculty and departmental executives are directed to strictly adhere to the instructions. He also further directed all staff advisors to monitor closely the activities of students under their care to ensure full compliance of the directive, warning that whoever violated the directive would be severely sanctioned. The suspension of social activities by the school's management is not unconnected to the death of a 100-level student of biology education of the university, Elvis Yunpan Jebwam, while swimming during a school hike at the Lamingo Dam on Saturday. The body of Elvis was later found in the dam days after he was drowned, a development that shocked both the school management and students of the university. Still staying around education, the Brick Hall School Abuja on Wednesday announced that it has decided to mourn the memory of its late 4-year-old pupil, Miguel Ovoke, by closing down the school for 1 week. The medical report, signed by Dr. Akiwande Ajayi on behalf of the medical director, indicated that he was brought in on account of aspiration on meat while feeding at school. The hospital said upon examination, the medical team found that the boy's pupils were fixed and dilated with a non-reactive response to light. His peripheral pulses were said to be impalpable, blood pressure unrecordable, and no cardiopulmonary activity or respiratory excursions. The report indicated that all efforts of the medical team to resuscitate him failed. The report concluded that he was brought in dead. Meanwhile, the school, in a statement released on Wednesday and signed by its management, said it was greatly saddened that the life of the pupil could not be saved despite the timely response of its trained nurse and the eventual decision to rush him to a hospital. Reactions have trailed the demolition of structures in Makurdi, the Benue State capital, by the Urban Development Board. Those who speak to Trust Television said that the displacement of some members of the business community in the state is a call for concern. Jimmy Azande tells us more.
Some of the residents are saying that though the action may result in development of the state capital, but the timing is wrong given the current economic difficulties in the country.
Someone said that a good thing done at the wrong time is not useful. So I feel the pains for those people because the timing is very, very wrong. Why do I say this? This is a very difficult time that Nigerians are passing through, very, very terrible times. You and I know the cost of living now, vis-a-vis the cost of fuel, the rise in cost in the dollar, and all that.
A section of Makurdi residents are accusing the government agency of deliberately crippling the micro businesses. They demand for compensation for those affected.
I think they need a little compensation because laxity creep into their activity. The reason being that if they had stopped that erection in the first place, that wouldn't have happened. So there wouldn't have been any need for them to come out for that destruction in the first place. So for them to have allowed the structures to be erected in the first place and then come off to destroy, that is where I fault them that they should have that sense of human angle to give a little compensation to those that are victims today.
The Urban Development Board says it has served notices to the structure owners before the demolitions.
We gave a radio announcement for about 2 weeks. These journalists can attest to it. And we serve them notices, and you can see how they are marked. So this thing has been going on for a long while now. This thing started since end of last year. So today that we have the resources and everything to do it.
Coming to put these people in such a condition at this time is inhuman, if you ask me. And then the second aspect is that this is rainy season. If it were during dry season period, it would have been a little bit better because they can just shift their wares to maybe under a mango tree or whatever shade.
This is the first time such demolition exercise is carried out by the agency in Makurdi that has resulted in many people being pushed out of businesses. Jimmy Azandi, Trust TV News, Makurdi.
On the foreign scene over in East Africa, flooding in Kenya's Tana River County has escalated the threat of cholera, with 44 reported cases highlighting concerns about the spread of waterborne diseases. The World Health Organization, WHO, in a statement on Tuesday, emphasized the collaborative efforts between Kenyan authorities, WHO, and other agencies to monitor and respond to health issues exacerbated by the floods nationwide. 44 cholera cases have been reported in Tana River County, one of the most flood-affected areas. The government of Kenya has mounted a multi-sectoral emergency response led by the Kenya Disaster Emergency Operations Center in the country's capital, Nairobi, according to the Ministry of Health. They confirmed that the impact of the floods has led to the closure of 14 health facilities and a shortage of major water treatment plants, leading to a shortage of potable water for 3,000 people. Though Tana River County is among the hardest hit by the deluge, local media reports that the impact of the flooding extends beyond Tana River, affecting over 250,000 individuals across Kenya, with a staggering 238 reported deaths. Rescue teams searching for dozens of construction workers missing after an apartment complex collapse in South Africa brought out more survivors on Tuesday as they entered the second night of desperate work to find anyone alive in the wreckage. At least 7 people have been confirmed dead. Authorities said 26 workers had now been rescued from the site where the 5-story building collapsed on Monday while under construction in George, about 400 kilometers east of Cape Town on South Africa's south coast. An additional 42 people are believed to be still buried in the debris of concrete and metal scaffolding. Rescuers were hopeful of more people being found alive after saying earlier that they had made contact with at least 11 workers trapped in the rubble and were communicating with them. It wasn't immediately clear how many of those had been rescued, but 5 survivors were brought out on Tuesday, adding to the 21 found on Monday, according to accounts provided by city authorities.
Firstly, doing what we call a line and hail search, so you walk through the whole area and you try and hear people, and we were actually hearing people shouting through the rubble. So that was the first point, and then the dogs come in and the dogs do a verification. Once the dogs have verified that there's somebody, we have high-tech equipment that we can actually start triangulating and pinpointing where the victim is trapped, and then from there we start working. So it's very, very difficult if you're working with concrete breakers and drillers and that kind of thing.
Ademola Lookman has reflected on his impressive performance for Nigeria at the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations AFCON. Lookman was one of Nigeria's top performers performers at the competition, finishing as joint top scorer with William Troost Ekong. 26-year-old was the hero in Nigeria's round of 16 victory against eternal rivals Cameroon, with his brace sending the Super Eagles to the quarterfinals. Lukman also explained how it felt to be Nigeria's joint top scorer in his first ever AFCON tournament. And that's it of our package of news updates at this hour. For more news, programs and documentaries, please do want to follow us on all our social media platforms and on our YouTube live stream. I am Chiamaka Nwafo. Thank you for joining us.